Hello.
And Dara Cunningham,
Hello there.
our favourite Irishman. Lovely to see you. Welcome. First Leads That live stream. Before we get into that, special thanks to our sponsors, Bass and Bly. Rocco,
Yes.
what can you tell me about Bass and Bly this week? Come on, you must know this.
Well, I can tell you that I went in actually the other day and had a
Nice.
chat with Justin. He was sorting out all his spotting scopes and lenses, all state of the art. And we had a lovely chat. He's going to take me to the gym to help me pump up for the big match, our charity event, the Leeds Creator Cup. So that's good as well. Very exciting.
Very good.
He's
yeah.
gonna
But that's not
crucify
going to
you.
sell any cameras, is it?
Well, maybe not, but I thought I'd save you as well, and I'll show you the new Bass and Bly website. So this is launched this week.
That looks very well designed.
It looks very good, doesn't it? Lots of new cameras, lots of new lenses. You might have seen a little pop up, and it is just down the bottom right corner, 10% off used, and that finishes at the end of this week. So you've still got a bit of time. There's
Cool.
100 more used items being added to the site as we speak. So yeah, make sure you go and have a gander.
Very cool.
Bassandbly.com, links in the description. So, how are we? Dara, you must be like absolutely delighted that the rumours are now true and confirmed. You did say it to us in the WhatsApp group a few weeks ago and said, book your flights, lads. I think Leeds are coming to Ireland and the rumours are AC Milan. And obviously I didn't. And now flights are extortionate. So, yeah, but you're delighted. Leeds United on your doorstep.
Yeah, once again, I mean, it used to be a feature where they'd come every summer and give the Irish fans something to look forward to. They'd play Shelbourne. Like I was only telling someone today, like some of the highlights of those matches. I remember David White scoring a hat-trick at one point. He was sensational. I remember Johnny Woodgate's debut. Everyone was wondering who the blonde lad at the back was. I remember Gary Kelly making his debut as well. So there's a long history of Leeds coming to Ireland and showcasing new players. So that's been great. But yeah, the big one, obviously, the Aviva Stadium, 9th of August against AC Milan. I had heard about it on the plane on the way back from Bristol match, which just capped off a brilliant match to go to. So really looking forward to it. It's last friendly of the season, of the pre-season. So it should be pretty much a full strength team. And I have no doubt the Aviva Stadium will sell out. There'll be 51,000 fans there, maybe 2,000 AC Milan fans and 49,000 Leeds fans. It's going to be quite the occasion.
Yeah, Rocco, you're away for it, are you? You're probably not even going to be able to watch it, are you?
Probably not. No, a bit gutted. I'd have loved to be there. It's good seeing Gary Kelly, wasn't it? Doing a bit of promo. I don't honestly think I've heard him speak since he was retiring on the pitch as we got relegated to League One.
I assume he's been on the beach since he retired. He looked well tanned, didn't he? That's the main thing. So yeah, plenty of friendlies lined up now. We've got Villarreal at Ellen Road, as well as obviously Scum over in Scandinavia somewhere. Are you off to that, Rocco? You went to Scum in Norway last time. Was it Norway? Sweden?
It was Norway. Yeah, Sweden this time. They've lost today, 1-0 against, is it the Malaysia All-Star team?
Yeah.
So
it was a decent Scum team out as well.
They're full strength pretty much.
Did you see the Malaysian bus parade as well?
I did actually.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
How embarrassing. How the mighty have fallen. Really, really embarrassing. Actually, funny thing about Gary Kelly, did you notice when they were going through his team with him? Did you see that one where he picks his Leeds v AC Milan team? And there's a few like that he's definite about. So like Cafu versus Gary McKelly, he goes, Cafu all day long. And he was David Batty against Gattuso. He's like Batty all day long. Do you know what he said all day long? Is the minute they said Harry Kewell, you could see his face kind of froze. And then he went Kaka, and he went Kaka all day long. So his finger is still very much on the pulse of what Leeds fans think. But I actually genuinely wonder, does he maybe dislike the guy as well a little bit? Seems that response would suggest that he did. And I mean, I think Kelly doesn't get the credit he deserves, to be honest, as an absolute Leeds legend who loves the club. Like people probably still don't know. He still goes to every home game. Like if you're at Dublin Airport on a Saturday morning for a Leeds match, Gary Kelly's there just with the rest of the fans. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting how he very quickly shoved Kuehl aside, because as I've always said, I don't like it, but Kuehl is the best player I've ever seen in the Leeds jersey. I don't like that, but that's the opinion I have.
I had a realization about Gary Kelly not long ago. I was reading something, and do you know when we got relegated from the Premier League, and then there's that age-old thing that Blackwell said. He was like, "Oh, it was just me and Gary Kelly on the training pitch," which was bollocks because we had loads of players. But what I read the other day was that the players who could and might leave the club were training in one area, and that basically left Blackwell and Gary Kelly. So basically, Kelly was the only one that was like, I'm not going, full stop, which is, where that comes from. So there's obviously an element of truth in it from Blackwell. And also the fact that he retired when he did, just because he couldn't be asked playing for anyone else. He only wanted to play for Leeds, and that was no longer an option. So he just hung up his boots. I don't think he was that old. Was he like 32, maybe 33, but like not into his 30s, I don't think. Oh, mid late 30s.
Yeah, if there's anyone else there listening, can you tell us if 32 or 33 is in your 30s? Rocco's a little confused. Just text in a comment there and let us know.
It's because I'm 41 and not ready to accept that I'm in my 40s yet. So.
I just wanted to hear you say 30s, to be honest, Darren. That's made my day. There's a few people in the comments. So Ross Jordan, delighted Sheffield got knocked out. It feels like we've been away for ages and loads of stuff's happened, doesn't it? But obviously Sheffield United played in the Championship playoff final. We're knocked out by a Jobe Bellingham masterclass. I didn't watch it, and honestly, I put on Twitter that I thought it was the day after, and I did. I genuinely thought it was the day after, and it is so nice to have not given a damn about the playoff final this year after the misery of last season. So, yeah, what were your thoughts on how that panned out? Kiefer Moore came up with the goods, didn't he, in the end?
It was a lovely ball in. Yeah, I watched the last half hour, and it was pretty good actually. Once Sunderland equalised, I quite enjoyed it. I was very happy that Sunderland won. But what a finish! Like that was just delightful, wasn't it? One of the best goals I've ever seen at Wembley. That.
Yeah, I think first of all, I have to give a bit of props to Ross Jordan, who said in the comment, my childhood best mate, who became a Leeds fan after I brought him to, I think it was a Leeds Bristol Rovers game back in our early 20s. But I think his passion for Leeds is only equaled by his hatred for certain clubs that he just kind of takes a disliking to, and he really hates Sheffield United. So I'd say he was just as equally as happy to see Sheffield United get stuffed as he was to see Leeds get promoted. But speaking of the game, though, I was surprised at the turn of pace Gus Hamer had. I don't know, we're probably going to come on to him later on, but like someone sprinted onto that ball. You could see they weren't favoured to get it. There was a great aerial view of it, and I was like, well, that's a nice turn of pace on whoever that is. And then I saw it was supposedly fatty Gus Hamer, who bored past the defender and read a brilliant ball in, to be fair, for a good finish. Luckily, it ended up meaning nothing. But very surprised to see he had that bit of pace in him.
He did some very good things in that game, didn't he? He does seem like a quality player, and I've enjoyed the video going around on socials this week of his assist to Bogle against Chelsea in the Premier League as well, which has obviously helped to spark some of the conversation around his potential move to Leeds and those rumours. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that then? Because there's obviously mixed opinions. I think some people have said, "Oh no, I don't really fancy him in the Leeds side. We could do better," and then people vehemently defending the idea that he's quality and could be a good addition for us. So where are you at with all that?
I don't have a clue, to be honest. I really don't.
There you go.
Here we go again.
There's no point in me saying anything because I just genuinely, I mean, I must have seen him play. He played against us twice, did he, this season? Was he injured? Was he?
He was injured for one when he came on late.
He was injured and came on. That's right. I don't know. Dara, what do you think?
Well, funny enough, I watched Joe Wayman's video or live the other night. I didn't watch it live, but I watched it back last night, and he was talking about this for a good half an hour. And the only comments against Hamer were all factually incorrect. Like I just said they're supposedly fatty because people were calling him fat. He's not fat. It's just clearly bit barrel chested. You know what I mean? He's clearly not fat. He's like, you know, Viduka. That's not just. It's just the way he's built.
That's what I tell everyone about me as well. It's like it's just a barrel chest. It's not Guinness.
People said that about Weston McKennie as well, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
The first time I saw McKennie, I couldn't. He was a big boy.
No, Hamer. Actually, I really like the guy. I think he's I think he's a good player. Look, he was championship player of the season. I don't agree with that summation. I think it should have been Trafford or Dan James, but he got it. So he's clearly not a bad player. He's done well in the championship with Coventry and Sheffield United. He did well in the Premier League last season with Sheffield United. He was the season before last. He was our best player. He's a bit of a yo-yo player, so I think there's an insurance in there for me, which is why I wouldn't mind seeing him coming out. Apparently, he's on quite little money, but 30 grand a week. So you up that to 50 with some sort of drop-down clause if we get relegated. You're not going to be spending big money on him. He can play in 3 different positions, the 10, the 8, or out wide. And let's face it, if we go down, which there's a chance of we have to guard against, he's someone we can retain. And the likes of Tanaka will go. So straight away, you've got a ready-made replacement right there for your midfield in the championship that gives you a great opportunity to bounce straight back up again. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I think if he's available and he's available for a good price, then I think we should absolutely get him. Do I think he needs to start every game? No. Would I love to see a more top-class seasoned number 10 come in that has a few more goals on him? Yeah, absolutely. But you need a squad. And if we're going to let Joe Rothwell go, who I really don't want to see go, I'd love to see us sign Joe Rothwell. I'd have no preference between either one of them, to be quite honest. I know that's going to sound mad to people. Well, I don't want to go on a monologue. But yeah, I would take Hamer in an absolute heartbeat. And I think the only people who are saying they wouldn't, as I said, from what I saw with Joe's video last night, I totally agree with Joe. Everything people were saying was based on falsehoods or emotion, or I just don't like him. And look, it's okay if you don't like him, that's fine. But he's a good player.
Yeah, I think that's a total fair assessment. What I would show you, if my computer decides to work, 1 second. I thought this was interesting from Giant Leeds fan in terms of Gus Hamer and Hamer, and in terms of fitness concerns. 21 games in full, 27 games past the 80-minute mark. He totally played 3,136 minutes, 34 games worth of 90s. Sorry, my eyesight's terrible this evening, which is only bettered by 6 of our players, which I thought was really interesting because people sort of saying he comes off after 70 minutes, which hasn't been the case. So yeah, all interesting. Running stats will be interesting for Hamer in particular when you think going into next season how little of the ball we'll have and a lot of running and pressing and defending off it will be required. So
James, that's actually another good point. He's a guy who has experienced a relegation battle before. Taking out points for Sheffield United. Now, obviously, he wasn't successful in that, but I don't think they showed a lot of ambition that time in last time in the Premier League. But tell you what, there's a few other players from Sheffield United I wouldn't mind going in for if we could. The keeper, Cooper. I think keeper's an easy one to kind of make a step up. Saves are saves. I don't think the Premier League makes much of a difference. He's one we should definitely have a look at. And Burrows, the left back. He was in the left back team of the season. Again, do I agree with it? Not sure. Certainly from a defensive perspective, I don't really rate Firpo, but he was brilliant going forward. Beyond doubt, the best left back in the league going forward. Maybe Burrows wouldn't be a bad shout either. Again, you're picking these guys up quite cheap. They're putting them on low enough wages. And we've seen before, like West Ham, Crystal Palace, Fulham, sometimes bringing the best of the Championship with you or into squads works well. I mean, look at Jared Bowen, Eze, plenty of players of that ilk who've made the step up and retained their positions and now are well-established quality Premier League players.
Cooper would be a solid pickup, Oliver said in the comments, so he agrees with you there, Dara, on that one. And Jack Harrison, the return of the Jack. I'm sure there's a song called that, isn't there? But again, another one that's caused divide. A lot of people just wanting to see the back of him. And I was listening to Simon Ricks the other day, and he made a good point that everyone was wanted him to sign a new deal just before he went to Everton, and he signed that new deal, and now everyone kind of wants shut. And it's hard to know what version of Jack Harrison we'd get, and whether we want to take that risk or whether we go for someone else like Manor Solomon.
It's funny because I said the other day, didn't I, or last week, or whenever we recorded, I was like, I don't think Harrison's a Farker type winger because he's very much a left winger. And I put match of the day on, and he's playing right wing against Newcastle, and seems like he played pretty well actually. But yeah, what are you saying, Dara? I said my piece last week. I basically said that if he comes back, so be it. He's a good Premier League proven, if you like, or Premier League experienced winger that'll work his ass off. It'll take some getting used to, but if he comes back, so be it. It's a cheap, decent winger.
Yeah, I'm the same opinion as you, Rocco, but even a bit more strongly. I would have him back in a heartbeat.
Really?
An absolute heartbeat. He made 63 appearances for Everton over the last 2 years, so he's not a big part player. This is a guy who is experienced in the Championship. That's 5 seasons in a row in the Premier League. He left Leeds. He didn't want to leave Leeds. You saw the effort he put in. He obviously scored a goal to keep us up at Brentford. He'd had a good season the season we got relegated. He was a bit hot and cold, but he was more hot than cold to the point where there was a good evaluation of him. Don't forget, club tried to sell him as well. There was no loyalty shown to him there. Truth is, Leeds fans are annoyed at Jack Harrison because of what his mother said in the stand. Come on, that's ridiculous. We got to grow up here, lads. You can't be annoyed and not want a player because of what their mom says in a stand under pressure with loads of people around them. Don't get me wrong, not a fan of his ma either. but you can't hold it against him. Not as much of a, there's plenty of mothers I am fans of. But not,
that's a different topic altogether.
Totally different topic.
Different type of podcast, that, Dara.
Just me and Michael Normanton. But let's face it, that's the reason we're all annoyed at him. The other thing that people, I think, forget about him is he's a bit of a strange guy. He's uber professional. He's boring as hell. If you noticed when he played for Leeds, he never even celebrated goals. He'd conserve his energy after saving a goal for his next sprint. It was bizarre. But that's how he did it because, during COVID, he was the one doing all the training. You see him on summer. He never takes a break. I'd have him back in a heartbeat. Why wouldn't you? A guy who, if I told you now we're going to sign a guy from Everton for free who'll go into the squad, who's made 63 appearances for them over the last 2 seasons, you would bite my hand off. And that is what we're getting. So, get him back. It's a job to him. Don't expect him to love Leeds. Don't expect him to kiss the badge and all that stuff. But will he do a job for us? 100%. And he will run his parts off.
We seem to think of Everton as being quite close to us as well, because when we left the Premier League, we were on that fighting sort of keel, weren't we, of one another. And actually, Everton have shifted up and moved on a bit. I think they've been playing really well under Moyes and got some good results. And I think they're probably just looking for that next level type player in that sort of position. And so is that naturally where we are at the minute? A Jack Harrison type, and I think it probably is. I think a lot of people's expectations are maybe a little more measured going into this Premier League season than the last one. I think I was wildly optimistic when we went into the Premier League last time, and just because of the nature of how we went up and how we were playing under Bielsa. But I think we all know that it's a massive challenge now, and we know that there's players that you're going to sign at a certain level to just hopefully get you past or out of the relegation zone and to stay in the Premier League another year. And it's that balance of players that we need, isn't it? Just to take us up another level. We're not going to sign the world's greatest players, but we just need some more with that little bit extra quality.
We did last time, signed Rafinha.
Well, no, and that comes up in conversation a lot because that came up with a few people in terms of Gus Hamer and saying, well, who else would you get? It's like, well, last time we got Rafinha. It's the one that you can pull out the bag, isn't it? But Rafinha is a bit of an anomaly. Let's be honest. An anomaly in the signings that Victor Orta.
Got one right. Stopped clock and all that. I think, to be honest, I think it's a lazy argument, though, isn't it? To say who else would you get? It's not my job to do recruitment and know every player in the world, but there's people at the club who should know that. But interesting one for anyone listening, right? So I have a theory that the people who don't want Hamer are the same people who don't want, but also say no to Harrison. So if you're saying no to Harrison, you say no to Hamer. I doubt there's many people out there who would say yes to one of them, because I think the people saying no to either of them are thinking with their hearts and not their heads. You think in your heart, because we were afraid of Gus Hamer last season. We were afraid when he came on that he might do some damage to us, and he didn't, and we all laughed at him. Right? We were similarly with Jack Harrison. It's all about his mum and the fact that he's, he left Leeds. So did Brent Harrison. So did Nando. Nando refused to play. And like, we love him. We sang, what songs did we sing about him this season on the bus parade? Like, he is absolutely a hero at the moment. So players can come back from these type of things. But I'd have Harrison back in a heartbeat. But question to anyone listening: is there anyone out there that would have one of them but not the other? Because I think most people are voting with their hearts here, not their heads.
It's a bit of a mindset thing as well, isn't it? Like, you might think, well, we can do better, basically. And Everton have sent Harrison back, and Hamer's been in the Championship, so could we do better? Who knows? I've just not got a clue.
Last week I was on the train to Leeds and I bumped into a certain Rocco Dean. You were on your way to Leeds Library to do some research for your new book.
I was.
We're not going to give that too much airtime, are we?
Not yet. Not till January.
I'm just joking, and I'm really looking forward to that one. And you asked me a question actually. Well, we were asking one another question because the big talk at the time was, is Firpo going to stick around? And we both like, what does Dara think? I'm not sure we've heard from Dara on what he thinks. Where are you with Junior Firpo, Dara?
Oh man, I'm not going to be low back on this pod again. I think it's time for Firpo to go.
I think someone's going to kill you in the chat.
I mean, Jack Harrison, yes. Firpo, no. Someone is going to absolutely kill me. I'm going to divide opinion here. I love Firpo. I love him. But I don't think he can defend at the highest level. And I don't buy the excuse he had that, he wasn't fit and that. I didn't see attributes. And I even saw, not so much this season. This season he was a bit improved. But last season, there was players at the likes of Ipswich and Leicester that tore him apart. So every time he came up against anyone of quality, he did get beaten defensively. So for me, I would think it's time for him to go and leave as a hero, then to stay. And by October, we're all screaming at him because he's getting torn apart. Not even by Mo Salah, but by Jared Bowen and the rest of them. So I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him leave a hero because I think that's what he deserves.
The excitement of the Premier League just turned into fear as soon as you mentioned Salah and Bowen as well. God, we've seen Bowen tear through our team a number of occasions as well. God, the whole match.
Except when Stewie Dallas put him in his pocket those few times under Bielsa.
Yeah, Stuart Dallas got big pockets, hasn't he? And around that, go on, Rocco. I think I cut you off then.
I was going to say that I'm worried. I can see a world where we bring in like Tsimikas, say, who's a player that I've really liked watching playing for Liverpool, or whoever we get that replaces Firpo, and will lose his brilliance going forward, and then find that the left back that we sign can't defend either, especially because the left back is such a poison chalice at Ellen Road. So yeah, I'm a bit worried. I don't know what I want. I mean, I think I would like Tsimikas. But yeah, I don't know. Left backs worry me inherently.
I think James knows what I'm going to say next. He knows who I'm going to offer up in the left back position, don't you?
Stewie D.
He's got one leg, mate. No.
Leif Davis, probably.
Oh God.
Yeah,
of course.
that's exactly who I'm going to say. I'm going to say 3 players I think we should have a look at. Look, I'm not the expert, so let the recruitment department pick. But Tsimikas, Burrows, Leif Davis, they're the 3 I'd look at. If you want the attacking outputs, Leif Davis is a good option. He's just had a season in the Premier League. Again, actually, they were fairly plucky. I think only for finances, they might have done a little bit better than they did. He still had a number of goals and assists, particularly with assists. Yeah, I think we should have a look at him.
Interesting, yeah. Leif Davis is a funny one, isn't it? Because I just can't imagine him even liking the idea of coming back to Leeds.
I think he'd love it.
I don't know. Yeah, I could be wrong. We'll have to wait and see. It's all speculation at this time of season, just before the players are even back in training. They're still on holiday in Japan. Most of our lot are anyway, aren't they? Get out there seeing Tanaka's family, and no doubt looks like they're having a great time. I'm jealous. I wish I was there.
Wholesome content, isn't it?
It is wholesome content. But last week, speaking of wholesome, did some wholesome things, have wholesome healing things happened in football in the last few weeks? Do you think?
Dara looks excited about it.
You know, okay, so I've written this down. It's been the dream season, right? The dream season, right? We get promoted, followed by, well, sorry, we got promoted where we could go to the stadium and relive the Bielsa promotion, right? But without COVID, right? Then we have the celebration against Bristol, where I think many people, including myself, say it was the best Leeds experience I've ever had, right? We then have the Manor Solomon last minute goal to win the league whilst Burnley are waiting to invade the pitch because they think they've won the league, right? On top of that, the three teams that got promoted last season and took the piss out of us, singing Leeds are falling apart in their own promotion parties, which, you know, mind your own business, have all gotten relegated miserably, like relegated by March. Ha! Right? Scum lose a final. Sheffield United lose the playoff final in the last minute, and Villa get done on a technical issue for VAR having stayed up only because of a technical issue on goal line and then ended up in the bleeding Champions League. There is a footballing god.
It felt good. No, it felt good. God, I'm a Leeds fan. It's horrible. That's the nerves of doing a live stream, I think. But it was nice to see that Palace win the FA Cup for starters. And it not just be someone in the usual top six on Man City just getting to a victory. And Eze's a good player. He's always been a good player. He's great at QPR against us in the Championship, and he's just grown and grown and grown. And it's a great finish. I think the Spurs finishing 17th and getting a Champions League spot is just insane, isn't it? It's and I watched a bit of Last Word on Spurs last night, and they're still obviously buzzing from that, because you would be, wouldn't you? Like, you've had the most torrid, horrible season. I think they've lost more games than we did when we were relegated. That's how bonkers their season is.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and
they've still beat Man U 4 times.
And they're in the Champions League next season. It's like, that is absolutely insane. And it shows that in recent years, not anything can happen in football. Well, it has happened this time round, and I think that's good. And I think there's been so much talk and worry about us going into the Premier League, and all the conversations that the gap is widening even more. And it's so difficult to stay in the Premier League, and I don't disagree with that, but it's more the fact that you have seen these other things happen, which is really positive for the game, and it doesn't just become this whole top six thing that it was a few years ago, and the conversations can become broader about football and football teams in general.
Yeah, Forest is a bit like a Leicester as well. I mean, I know they only finished 7th in the end, but to qualify for Europe, I think it's astonishing. Like, there must have been one of the favourites to go down. So, yeah, anything can happen. It's a good thing, isn't it?
It's a good thing. And, well, I suppose keeping on the Man U topic, scum topic, just for not long, but are they in trouble? Are they? Kieran Maguire, who's obviously a finance expert in football, doesn't seem to think they are, and they'll obviously sell someone like Garnacho or Fernandes and then put them in a good position, PSR. But then everywhere you read sort of shows that they're in financial difficulty and they're not going to be able to buy anyone at the end of the season. The reason why I'm saying this is because I really want a battle with us down the bottom of the league and see them in the Championship is where I'm going with this. So,
I mean, they're in trouble. I don't know about financially. I couldn't possibly get into that, but they're in trouble on the pitch. They're horrendous. They're absolutely horrendous. They're putting all their eggs in the basket of Amorim and his philosophy, which has only worked in Portugal for a couple of years, and that's it. I mean, it's just absolutely bizarre. It's just, I can't get my head around it, why they're willing to risk everything on that. And yeah, they've been so appalling this season. Will they get better next season? Probably. Will they turn it on when we go to Old Trafford? Probably. But we should definitely enjoy it, because well, it's just insane, isn't it? How bad they are.
The truth is they are in big trouble. The club is completely toxic. You only have to look at the list of players who have left them and done well. I mean, even Anthony, who looked like the worst player in the world under with them, has gone to Spain and been an absolute superstar. Scott McTominay, who, in fairness, I always thought he was a good player because he always played well against Leeds and he put in a shift, and then he always had this thing of he's not good enough for Man United. It's like, yeah, he's actually too good for Man United. He's winning leagues with Napoli, lads, and you're gurgling around the plug hole in the Premier League. No, they're in big trouble. The club is absolutely toxic, and you know what, lads, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. There was generations of scum fans in their mid-20s who had never known anything but total scum dominance.
Yeah.
And they are now suffering, and I am here for it. And I would give anything for them to drop down to the championship. That would
even
be
funnier. This is incredibly cruel, but I'm sorry, I just like the fact that those glory hunters who just went to support Man U because they were winning, so they can gloat over everyone. They've inflicted their children now. So their children have to live with this utter misery. Like, at least they've had all the good years, and then they make their children support Man U, and they've got to put with this. And I like it. I'm sorry, but I just do.
This is for your children and your children's children.
Is that not kind of what happened to us, though? Right, because I'm born in 1981. So my
so.
brothers were all like, well, Shay in particular, a little bit older than Steve, but like he had the Leeds United as the greatest club in the world. And I was born the year we got relegated. So, and I had to endure the first 9 years of my life with that, with people going, who were Leeds? Because back then you didn't know internet and stuff. But speaking of inflicting, I'm going to tell you a funny story. So I'm teaching Sebi at the moment. People would have seen the video of him singing Champions Again in the car park at a crash in the morning. So he's gone mad into Leeds songs. Ever since he saw me celebrate the Mallard Solomon goal, he's just Leeds obsessed. He's only 2. But I'm teaching him Play All the Way. And it's funny, right? Because it's actually the most kid-friendly song ever, right? So first of all, you've got a giant, Big Jack. So obviously, Sebi thinks he's a giant. Then you've got a tiger called Billy, right? You have a horse and you have a top cat, right? Right? So like he thinks this is like super song, right? You've got a lasher, and the best of all, right? He's mad into Marvel, loves like Hulk and Thor and all those. You have an Iron Man hunter, someone who hunts Iron Man. So like Play All the Way is literally the most kid-friendly song ever. He keeps saying to me, Daddy, play Leeds song. It's my favorite song. Like he's obsessed with it. I've listened to it like 43 times today and I had to sing it to him before he went to bed.
I think you might be on something in terms of new generation fan recruitment. Just start pumping that out into the PAs of nurseries around the country and creches in Ireland. So yeah, I think you're on something there, Dara.
There you go.
It's a good shout. Someone has asked a question in the comments. It's Richard Todd, and he has said, do you think we will make any signings over 25 million? Now, I suppose that's a question relating to financial situation of Leeds, which is a better thing to talk about rather than the financial situation, Man U. Although part of me also hates talking about the finances of football and would rather focus on the football itself, but that's the nature of where we're at the minute.
It could also be ambition, though.
Yeah,
like how ambitious do we want to be?
Yeah, and
I think, or how many players we're going to sign.
Yeah,
that too.
Yeah, that's it.
My instinct was no, by the way.
You don't think so?
That was my instinct. I thought, no, I can't really see it. 30 million, can't see it.
Yeah, I suppose it depends what's around and what we desperately need. There's obviously Kelleher, the Liverpool goalkeeper, has been talked about a lot, and the price there isn't going to be cheap. But obviously, there's going to be competition for someone of that caliber as well. So, yeah. Jonathan Brook thinks there might be one marquee signing at a guess. I mean, Rodrigo was Rodrigo was the marquee signing when we last went into the Premier League, wasn't he? And then Rute was most expensive, but not a marquee, really, was he? Marquee in terms of money, but yeah.
Yeah, I still don't buy that he was the most expensive. I'm sure it's like 25 million with add-ons, and they definitely didn't pay any add-ons. So I'm still having Rodrigo as our record signing, which was a bad one.
He was a bit of a flop until his last season. I think there's a potential there for two marquee signings, two over 25 million. I think we absolutely need a striker. I think without goals, there's no hope. And I don't think, as much as I love Peru and I've championed them all the last season, I don't want to rest all our hopes on Peru. Interesting, Bamford's well up for this season. I'm not sure if anyone heard him on the Fozcast.
He was good on that.
Very good. And some of the insights, particularly on Harry Gray and Archie Gray, were very interesting. But I'd love to see a top striker come in if possible. Now, look, we saw what happened with Rodrigo, who was Spain's number 9 at the time. But whether it's a 10 or a centre back, I think they're the other two positions. And it was an interesting point Bamford made on the Fozcast when he said that Bielsa suffered because the spine of his team was injured in the second season with Cooper, Phillips, and himself, Bamford. So I think like that, we've got Rodon. I like Stroke. I think he's Premier League ready, but we could improve on him. I'd love to see a centre back who's better than Rodon. So it takes some of the pressure off Rodon because we know Rodon's going to be good anyway. And then a top class number 9. And you put that together, build a team around that. I think we have the nucleus for it. Yeah, fill in the rest of the gaps with a Burrows or a Leaf Davis or a Gus Hamer. It doesn't have to be world class superstars. I think we have a decent team as it is, and we have a good system. But yeah, two marquee signings in the middle of the pitch through the spine, I think could be very, very doable and useful.
I don't know if anyone caught this earlier this week, actually, but and I keep mentioning scum players. This is annoying, isn't it? But Wayne Rooney was on the Stick to Football podcast, and he was asked to call out the Championship standout player of the season. Who do you think he went for, Rocco?
How does he know?
You could have just bloody lied.
I know. I thought about it.
Who did you name man of the match every match 2 seasons ago?
Yeah. Joe Rodon, passing accuracy 92%, but just said he's a gem. And I think he's right. Obviously Rooney in recent times has not been a great manager, but he knows a good centre back and a good striker. He's played against loads of them, so I think it was really interesting that. And Rodon just didn't really get his chance in the Premier League, did he? And now he's got it, so it could be in for a good season with him as well.
He'll do very well. He'll do well in the Premier League. He's a top class player, guy who really wanted to be at Leeds too.
Yeah, he's got pace as well. I just sometimes I don't know. I think sometimes he might even be underestimated. I think he's going to be class. Really happy with him.
And LMA Manager of the Year. We finally got an award for the Hamer. He got Player of the Season in the Championship, but LMA is always a good one because it's obviously voted for by the other managers as well. So that tells you everything you need to know.
I've not researched this, but just to pour cold water on your statement, didn't Rossini get it last year? And he didn't even get in the playoffs for Hull. Now I know Hull have nearly got relegated this season, so maybe he did do a good job. But I thought
he was 7th. They finished just outside the playoffs last season.
Yeah. Anyway,
why is that pouring water on me?
I don't know.
Super soaker.
They weren't that good. Burnley got 100 points.
Well, yeah.
No, it wasn't Burnley, was it?
No, it was Leicester.
Leicester, yeah. Should have been Farker, basically.
Your man Kieran McKenna at Ipswich. I mean, to do back-to-back promotions is incredible. It's a brilliant achievement.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to cover off?
Wacko.
Go on. Yes, today is the day, isn't it?
50-year anniversary of our most glorious day, or what should have been. Been good. It's been good seeing all the comments on Twitter and listening to the Square Balls thing. That was good today, talking about the game. And just basically wanted to add that, we were so bloody unlucky. And that decision, the thing that annoys me is that the referee's decisions, everything annoys me, especially
everything in the 50 years after that.
Well, it's the fact that the referee's decisions just takes away from the fact that Leeds absolutely pummeled what was the reigning European champions, the reigning world and European champions at national level as well. Like, they had 8 Germany players in that team that had won the World Cup and the European Championships, and Leeds absolutely annihilated them. Like, they had 2 shots in the first half from 30 yards that went miles over the bar. Leeds, they just couldn't get a kick. And yeah, it just saddens me that we have to just talk about the referee incidents, just like the AC Milan game 2 years earlier. Yeah, so annoying.
Yeah,
it is crap though, and there's no making up for it. And that's the thing. I think I told this story before, but very, very briefly. Like we talk about like people who get done for drugs cheating and stuff, and then the medal goes to the next person down. That's all well and good, and yeah, the history books will show that that person had the medal, but they don't get the chance to stand on the podium. And what's more is they don't get the opportunity to benefit from the gains you can get from winning. I mean, if Leeds win that and win that European Cup, maybe they go out and they buy I'm going to be prepared of Johan Cruyff. You know what I mean? Maybe that enables them to buy an extra couple of players, and the whole history of Leeds changes. So it's not a case of you can just say, it was bad refereeing decisions or the game was rigged, wherever it might be. Like, these things do have an effect, and no matter what anything else happens, you can never get that opportunity back again. So, yeah, cheating bastards.
Yeah, I agree. I read Moxco, his article on Leeds history. I don't know if you've read it, Rocco, but it's very good. It was from the point of view of talking about the Munich side, and that they were just so incentivized like all the time, and they were a really dysfunctional team that just had massive bonuses basically. So the pays in comparison to what the Leeds team were just staggering. But Leeds as a unit were just such a better team, like well gelled together from years of playing with one another, and not necessarily on high wages, but just loved being part of the club. Side before self all the way, wasn't it? That period. So
yeah, such a shame. But what can you do?
Exactly.
It's made us what we are, hasn't it?
Leeds that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, good stuff. And
I also need to apologise to George. Last week, I was saying how he said that Burnley have 4 quality players, and I said one of them was Norgard, when Brentford. I should have said, Brentford. Should have said Brentford then. And last week, I should have said Damsgaard.
Oh, yeah, did. Were we linked with him?
Yeah, we were at one point. Yeah, it was. Was it maybe after the Euros? Or no, it was before the Euros, and then he scored that blinding free kick, and then it was like, all right, I'll see you later.
We had the players we've been linked with who've gone on to do really, really well. Like DePaul won the World Cup. Cunha has had a whopper season for Wolves. Damsgaard obviously one of the best players.
Is it Gyökeres? I can never pronounce his name.
Gorkias, well, that's a sickening one. I mean, yeah, we could have had him for 13 million. Instead, we went for Georgie Rutter, who barely played that season. Josko Gvardiol, another one, doing well at City, Man City. So, yeah, there's plenty.
But we're not bitter.
No.
We're not bitter. We're Leeds, and that's the way things go. Any more? Well,
I think people need to like, share, and subscribe. Smash a like on that video, and do subscribe if you haven't got it, because we haven't quite hit the 1,000 subscribers mark yet, and we can't wait to hit it. But maybe actually one last thing before I go, I am at a wedding on Sunday in Portugal with my nephew and godson, lifelong Leeds fan, Evan Cunningham. So I'd just like to wish Evan and Helena all the best on their nuptials in Portugal on Sunday. I'm looking forward to a great celebration.
Yeah, amazing. That'll be good fun. And just to mention as well, Leeds Creator Cup that we're going to be part of in July, where we are the back 3 as it stands for the Yorkshire Roses in this charity match. Rocco's going to do all the running. Me and Dara are going to be some sort of minor wall.
I think Joe is playing. I think Joe wants to play right back, so I might have to push up and play midfield.
Oh, nice. Holding
midfielder.
Me and
Joe
box
rock
to
solid.
box.
Yeah.
Be a holding defender, and I'll do the box to box defender thing.
So yeah, Leeds Creator Cup. There's a link in the description when you listen to the audio version of this, and obviously on YouTube you can get tickets. I think they're £7 for adults, £3 for children. It's all for a good cause, all going to Prostate Cancer UK. It should be a good one. They've sold a few hundred tickets already, haven't they? So it's going really well. But yeah, get yourself along to that. It's in July 20th. We did. I've done better this time, Rocco.
You have, yeah. By the time it's coming around,
yeah, exactly. So yeah, we look forward to seeing people there.
Yeah, come on down, have a beer with us afterwards.
Yeah.
And speaking of beers afterwards and beforehand, if anyone's coming over to Ireland, let me know. We'll designate a pub and we will all go there and meet up.
That sounds absolutely cracking. And yeah, thanks for everyone that's been on the live stream. We're just kind of testing this out. We're obviously going to be doing the audio edit of this that'll come out shortly after. But yeah, thanks ever so much for everything. Thanks for the comments. Very much appreciated. And sorry if I haven't got around to responding to everyone, but we will do our best next time.
You need to show me where the comments are. I can't see them.
Well, we'll go into this separately. We'll talk about this another time. People don't want to hear this.
We really don't need to try to explain technical issues in front of everybody when it comes to Rocco, because we could be here all night. If anyone's ever seen Zoolander, where they start banging the computer because they don't know how to use it, that's kind of how James and I treat Rocco when it comes to technology.
It's usually we argue over who's taken it. The technical queries like, Dara, this one's for you. Right.
Switch off and on again.
On that note, thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you again next time. Cheers.